So is that completely torn?
To me, yeah, it looks completely torn.
Okay, so it is officially the 3rd of March, and 2 days ago, on the 1st of March, I dislocated my knee playing a five-a-side tournament. Basically, how it happened is playing five-a-side tournament, my knee just exploded. I went to turn off my right foot like that, and big audible crunch, a big audible crack just went, and immediately the second it happened, I knew it was bad news. They thought I had actually broke a bone or broke something in the knee, so I got it x-rayed, and the x-ray showed nothing. She said there still could be fractures in it, so right now I'm waiting on an MRI, so yeah, so this is how the swelling was looking about 2-3 days after it happened. And in the days where I was waiting for my MRI, it was looking pretty bleak. Okay, it is the 1st of March, and this is the first day I can officially walk. So for literally the first 4 days, I could do nothing for myself, and I couldn't really walk. Ah, fucking hell. Ah, Jesus Christ. But I managed to just fill in my time by playing games and editing, and I was very slowly but surely rebuilding little bits of strength in the knee by each day. Okay, so it is March 6th, so this is day 5, I think. I can kind of walk now, like a little bit. So as you can see, that's the total range of motion in that leg, which is a problem because that's like the same as the day it went, or like the day after, like it has improved. And just for context, like obviously, I can do that with my own one. But I had no idea what I had actually done to the knee yet, and the only way I was going to find that out is by seeing what the MRI had to say. It's only one more day until my MRI, so again, I'm just going to keep resting it, keep icing it, keep the compression sock on it, and then just see what they say tomorrow. Some things I'm really looking forward to is I want to be able to drive soon, man. I have been stuck in the house for almost a week now, and I'm not joking yet, I am going insane. Like, it's having a really bad effect on my mental health. Hopefully I'm not going to need surgery, because if I need surgery, I'm not gonna lie, that is going to be a really hard pill to swallow. So I went in for my MRI. I got my MRI done, but I wasn't gonna have the results for another week, which unfortunately for me meant another week of depression basically, because I still couldn't walk, I still couldn't leave the house, and basic things like trying to shower just took so unbelievably long. Okay, so it's now the 10th of March, as you can see, and I have finally got my MRI results. Here's a video I got someone to take me last night, and as you can see, there's night and day difference between the knees, like it's not good. So my ACL has a full thickness acute tear. Now what I think that is like, it means it's not fully broken, it's just slightly torn. Yeah, so after I got my MRI results, I still was kind of none the wiser. Like I think I'm just too stupid to understand the language that was being used in like the breakdown that was sent to me. There's a focal edema, bicep femoris and popliteus are intact. So everything again is intact there. There is damage to the MCL, but again, not completely torn. It's where it should be. So I had another 2 weeks of waiting around and basically just being immensely depressed that I couldn't do anything. But I could kind of leave the house now, which helped a lot. So I did get a little bit of gym work in here and there where I could. It was only like 2 days, but that literally meant the world for me and my mental health. And then the day where I had to meet my consultant had actually arrived, and to be honest, at this point I was feeling quite optimistic. So at this point I thought I wasn't going to need surgery, and that nothing was fully torn in the knee. Which, looking back, that was so naive of me to think that, because I was still struggling to walk like 10 steps in a row without my knee feeling like it had a hot knife in the side of it, like. But yeah, like I said, I was fairly optimistic, but that was quickly dashed the second I sat down in the consultant's chair.
So tell me, what's the problem?
I think I dislocated my knee.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's what happened. I think the bone did that in the joint.
Did you hear a pop in it? Did you feel something gave in your knee?
Big time.
Yeah. Something like that, did it ever happen to you before?
No.
No similar injuries?
No.
What about any of your brothers, sisters?
My brother completely severed his ACL.
Yeah, that's relevant, okay.
Yeah.
Because all that injury that you described very nicely, it's the hallmark of how the injury occurs, okay? So it's a hallmark of an ACL injury.
Yeah.
Let me have a briefly look at it, and then I'll explain that to you, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Simon, you ruptured your cruciate, okay?
So is that completely torn?
To me, yeah, it looks completely strong. So I'll explain that to you. Okay, I'll do it here so you can see as well. So this is my right knee, okay? This is the outside, this is the inside. That is the ACL, the anterior cruciate ligament. That's the PCL, the posterior.
So, yeah, I have completely torn my ACL and damaged a whole load of other stuff in the knee. Basically, my knee just exploded. And if you know anything about sports injuries, that's not good. But now that I had a date for my surgery, I could at least start putting together a prehab plan. Now, the whole point of putting together a prehab plan is so that I could make the knee as strong as possible going into surgery to cut down my recovery time after. Now, this plan involved two things. One was trying to restore as much range of motion as I could, and the second part was to stave off as much muscle atrophy as possible. So I had to get on an exercise bike as soon as I could. Now, at first, this felt like it was an impossible challenge, and I couldn't even do a full rotation of the bike on the lowest set. But surprisingly enough, over the following days, it did get much easier, a lot quicker. But I was spending way too much time in the gym, so I took the Facebook Marketplace and bought my own exercise bike. Now, at this point, I was still experiencing a lot of pain in the knee, and it was very difficult to get the range of motion on the bike. But because I could do it at home now, it meant I was getting a lot more minutes in the bike, so I made a ton of progress over the next couple of days. Now, the two things I used to measure progress was, one, the amount of resistance I was using on the bike, and two, how low the seat was, because this would force me into deeper ranges of motion. But even though I was making tons of progress and the knee was healing very quick and I was improving the range of motion, it was still very sensitive, and the slightest wrong turn at all would put me in tons of pain. Ow. Where's that fucking wasp gone? The fucking bastard. So I decided to upgrade my prehab setup, if you could even call it that, to make sure my knee was as strong as it could possibly be to cut down my overall recovery time after surgery. This is an ice bath, and this, you can read it there, it's a fucking sauna. And my kind of idea is to just do an absolute shit ton of hot cold therapy and abuse the living soul out of sauna. Reduces inflammation and has a whole load of other positive effects. I'll leave them on the screen now. Kind of got what I paid for. It was only about €50 and it looks like a €50 ice bath. It's just some plastic poles and a tarp draped over it basically. So I don't know if I can bend my knees that much. I should have put my right leg in first. Okay, how the fuck do I sit down though? Yeah, anyways, I do actually fit. This is a different beast, I think. Step 1, assemble. The vapor box goes underneath. Well, what if it cuts the arse of me, like? Like... Oh! There's a fucking hole there. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man, what the fuck? Hopefully the camera caught that. So now that everything was built, it was time to finally set foot in the sauna. Conclusion that I've come to is I bought a kettle and a fucking tent. An overpriced kettle and tent. Because all it's doing is boiling the water and turning it into steam. And I'm sitting in the steam in a tent, which keeps the heat in. Not too sure that was a clever move. Lads, do you ever feel like you've been scammed? Because I'm starting to feel like I've been scammed. This is cutting the steam gun, whatever that is called, the steamer, is cutting the fucking ankles clean off me. I just feel like a finished swinger. I feel like a pervert in this. I'm just stood in my backyard and very sweaty. Can I just take the lid off this? Like, is there a need for this lid to be on? Ow! My fucking finger, that was fucking stupid. And now it was time for the bit that I was absolutely dreading. The ice bath. Yeah, so to say that was hard to do would be an understatement, but I committed to doing this every single day that I could, right up until my surgery. It was a very tedious regime of biking for about 15 minutes, rowing for about 10, then the sauna, then the ice bath. Just repeated. But on the days where I couldn't do the full regime, I would make sure I would get at least my biking done by any means possible.
1:15 and it's fucking freezing outside, so back in the kitchen, bike is in the kitchen. This feels wrong. Son the arse of me. This is actually cutting me in half.
Oakley dokley. So I just had a meeting with my physio, an appointment with my physio, whatever you want to call it. And basically, I've been instructed to up the level of exercise I'm doing. I was told to keep doing the bike, keep doing the row. But now I can add in some actual gym work to just keep prehabbing the leg, because in exactly 7 days from now, I will be having surgery and I won't be able to do anything. So in the next week, I'm going to try to get 2 leg sessions in if I can. Bit of leg curl, bit of hamstring curls, some kettlebell RDLs and some kettlebell goblin squats. Overall, he said my knee is absolutely flying. He said the progress I've made on the bike is very, very good. Considering the last time I was in there, I literally couldn't do a single revolution of the bike. I couldn't get my knee round at all. Yeah, man, just trying to get this thing as strong as I can, so surgery is a breeze. I'm kind of getting anxious about the surgery, I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting a bit scared, but I think that's normal. Now, if I'm being completely honest, in this last week leading up to the surgery, I did unfortunately only manage to get 1 leg session in. And this is because I was prioritizing doing things I actually enjoyed that I wasn't going to be able to do for a long time after my surgery. Where'd that go? So it is the 14th of April, it is 3 days until my surgery, and I have some thoughts. Yeah, so just finished my first leg session, if you can even call it that. On the leg extensions, that was a real shock because the entire inside head of my quad has disappeared. Something I also want to do right now is measure my leg, because looking at it on the leg extension, I didn't realize how much I had lost. So on the 17th of January this year, my right quad was 22.5 inches and my right calf was 14.2 inches and the left side was basically the same. I will only be measuring my legs today, because if I measure anything else, I'm sure it'll just be even more disappointment. On the bottom where near the knee is, if I tense, that's 15 inches. And then up where I measured it a few months ago, it would be around the thickest point, which is up here, but it was 22. I'm going to guess I lost 2 inches. I'm guessing it's going to be 20. So up the top of the quad is like 19.1 inches. Honestly, not that bad. It's a 3-inch loss. Like, then again, 3 inches is a lot. It is the 16th of April, which is the night before my surgery. Bit anxious for the surgery tomorrow, if I'm being honest. But I know when I wake up from it, I'll kind of have the hard part out of the way. The cold plunge worked really, really well for helping cut down the swelling, and it actually like sped up me getting mobility back into the knee. And then the sauna, that thing was a piece of shit, not gonna lie, I took an L on that one. Kind of regret buying that. And over the past week as well, I've just tried to cram as many gym sessions in as I could. I made sure I got out of the house because I know I'm going to be locked down for like at least a week. I won't be able to walk for like at least a week. And yeah, that's kind of everything. Hopefully the surgery goes well tomorrow. I'd be lying if I said it was easy. Like, mentally, this was very, very difficult. I think the mental aspect is way worse than the physical aspect of an injury this bad, because you're just stuck, like. But yeah, this will only make me stronger. It'll make me a better person. I'm going to finish out the last few minutes on this bike. Then I'm going to eat, go to bed, and I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully the surgery goes well. If I'm being honest, I am shitting it a little bit, but it should be okay. Yeah, see you tomorrow. And just like that, I was making the long trip to Dublin again, and this time I was absolutely shitting it. Now, I've actually had quite a few surgeries in my lifetime, I'd say much more than the average person, but for some reason this one was giving me way more anxiety than anything I'd ever done before. And this wasn't helped by the fact that I was having this done on the day ward, which meant I wouldn't even be kept overnight or in a private room. I was just on a ward with loads of other people, but there was nothing I could really do, so I just got into my gown for operation and waited to be called for surgery. I am so nervous. See ya when I have a new ACL.
literally just woke up. I feel so groggy, but it actually doesn't feel too bad. I can just feel where they took from the hamstring. My MCL didn't need stitches, I think I was told. And I can bend the leg a decent amount, which is a good sign. I'm pretty sure that went well. Yeah, I get to eat now, thank God.
So yeah, thankfully the surgery went as well as it could have, but I was absolutely in bits after it.
Okay, I am actually tripping major balls right now. I'm actually more out of it than I thought I was. Everything is like constantly falling, if that makes sense. I feel quite sick.
Swollen, is it?
I would say a fair amount. Like, it's when you look at it, you can immediately tell it's swollen.
Okay, so appointment there at 8:30. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Right, take care, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.